What's happening, people? Back with another reaction, back with some more Duran Duran. We're going back to their 1983 album, Seven and the Ragged Tiger. Now, I already reacted to a version of Union of the Snake. It was actually one of the early Duran Duran reactions I did when I still just had a couple of their records, like vinyl. And before, the deep dive really began, although that was like right at the tipping point. It was right at where I was like, wow, this is like more interesting than I remember, and maybe I don't have a full understanding of, who Duran Duran was, which is a joke that I was like, oh yeah, like, they kind of have that 80s sound and that must be it. Not that I ever thought that explicitly, but obviously, like, when I was thinking of what Duran Duran was, when I just was kind of reconnecting with a couple of the tunes I knew from childhood, it was, I had no idea it was like the microscopic tip of like a planet-sized iceberg. So, yeah, ultimately it feels like so much time has passed. But the version that I reacted to, it just says Union of the Snake. So I don't think it's the same version. I think Izzy or somebody else mentioned, like, yeah, this is a remix. But because it was just listed that way, because I don't know exactly how it differs, for the time being, I'm going to jump ahead to the next tune, but please do let me know if this album version is fundamentally or notably different than the version I reacted to, which again, it was on a single record. I forget what was on the other side. But yeah, ultimately that track I did react to a couple months ago. So for the time being, as I said, I'm going to go to Shadows on Your Side. The first thing I think of when I see that title is, again, Simon Le Bon's penchant for writing about themes that relate to gradations of light, or the presence and or absence of light, and the sort of implications of that, like, visual matrix. And also, again, it's not just light as we use it, like, in a sort of, human, domestic or like modern understanding, which is mostly we're talking about white light, but colors are different gradations of light. They're frequencies in what we call the optical range of light, which is actually a minuscule part of the overall like frequency spectrum of electromagnetism. But yeah, ultimately the phrase invokes more ideas of shades of color and shades of light. But to say that the shadows are on your side is to perhaps say that the forces of dark are at your disposal, or at the very least the absence of light can perhaps benefit you in this case. But yeah, I wonder whether it might not be darkness in sort of like a philosophical or like a narrative sense, good versus evil, but more shadows in terms of like spaces that, because of their obscurity relative to other entities or other physical artifacts, are thus in some ways hidden, or at least more discreet compared to other locations. So yeah, I feel like there's a lot you could go, or many different avenues you could walk down with this, but Shadows on Your Side, it does suggest that there's some benefit, some advantageous aspect to these shadows in relation to a particular person. So we'll have to see exactly how it manifests. And once again, as I've gone through this album, I keep mentioning this album has included tunes which I didn't remember by name, but once they started, or at least once they got a little bit into the tune, I suddenly realized, wait a minute, I actually do know this. I remember hearing it. So I'll just keep saying it until we're done with this album. It's entirely possible that that may happen again. But with no further ado, this is Duran Duran, Shadows on Your Side, from the 1983 album Seven and the Ragged Tiger. Like the brass too. It's like one part of the melody is kind of rolling, and the other part is sort of like stabby, right? Music is louder than all that roll. Where the heat of the planets go, but the shadows are on your side. As soon as the lights go down, in the darkest place you can find, you belong to the hands of the night. Some of what I was speculating about beforehand is maybe heading in the right direction. About dark spaces and
the darkest place you can find, you belong to the hands of the night. Shadows are on your side, as soon as the lights go down.
Come on.
In the darkest place you can find, you belong to the hands of the night.
Like an oscillating percussive layer.
Spinning a compass to choose your way. You can run, you can dive, you can stand, and you can soar. Whichever way you can be sure that the shadows are on your side. As soon as the lights go down, in the darkest place you can find.
I've caught a lot more of the chorus than the verses here. The chorus I'm hearing pretty clearly. The verses I'm having a problem picking up.
As soon as the lights go down, in the darkest place you can find, you belong to the hands of the night.
I mean, I already have like one kind of interlude. Almost like top of the track is sort of like ghostly, like almost a banshee, like. Haunting this section. Shadows is like there are mythological universes in which shadow is used either as a metaphor for evil or at least metaphysical forces of malevolence. So having a section as the outro plays where it's sort of like haunting the track a little bit with the sonics, I think that does fit. As I said, I caught more of the lyrics in the chorus than I did in the verses, so I'm gonna have to like really try to key in on the verses in further listens. But do let me know if there's something lyrically that I should be looking out for. But again, I do feel like he was basically saying, you're in the hands of the night, or you belong to the hands of the night. So I do think there's a suggestion that whoever he is speaking to, their proper place, at least as he sees it, is among the shadow and in the night, rather than sort of the dark, garish exposure of the light. So yeah, let me know what you think. Hello again. So yeah, my phone just conked out as I was finishing that video, so just to finish it off, I was going to say that yeah, the next tune we're going to be listening to is Tiger Tiger, which a number of you have commented that that's a very interesting track, so I've been looking forward to that one. And then we're going to finish with The Seventh Stranger, which I actually listened to the live version first because it's on Arena, and I reacted to that one, so I'm very much looking forward to hearing the studio version and how it may compare or contrast with the version I've already heard. But once again, if the tune Union of the Snake is actually notably different here on the album than on the vinyl version I listened to, which I think at the time someone said it was a remix, so if it's significantly different, do please tell me, and I will jump back and do Union of the Snake before proceeding onward. But yeah, assuming that's not the case, the next tune will be Tiger Tiger. So yeah, let me know what you think of this. Other than that, I will see you next time.